Hey y'all, so for today's look, we're going to be doing our Pat McGrath palette. But not only do I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about how did I pick out these colors? How did I create this look from this palette? So as I get into that, you guys will figure out my thought process on how to pick out eyeshadow colors, especially your three main colors, and then also how do you create a look that you're looking for, y'all. Let's dive right on in. Okay, y'all, so for this Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette, we're gonna get into basically like how it looks, how we unpackage it, and the colors that are in it. So just by starting off, here is what it came in. This packaging is very beautiful. I mean, I think honestly, a lot of what you pay for is the marketing. How they present the product, how the packaging is. As you can see when you're opening it, it has a very old school way of opening with a little string on there. Absolutely glorious. Not only that, they actually go in the interior and the exterior with that same design of the packaging. So I think a lot of focus, a lot of time and effort has been put into that. And then you also have the names of all the colors that we have in this palette as well. So beautiful packaging. Of course, that's what you mostly pay for, which is good. But just to start getting into the palette itself, of course, it's her famous logo on the front of it. And then we also have all this beautiful gold. So I was actually very surprised to see how heavy this was when it came in the mail, only because I didn't really expect a palette to have this much weight to it, but I think a lot of it once again goes into packaging. So we can just start looking at these beautiful colors, y'all. I think at first these colors were a little overwhelming only because you have a big selection and it's a really good selection. So it's like a good overwhelming, but I think the thing that really hits home is all these reflective colors in here. So some of these you can't really tell, but a lot of these, especially this one right here is green to pink. This one is probably the clearest reflective color you can see, but a lot of these shimmers are reflective, so they basically change in the light, so they can appear brown in one color and then a little more pinker in one color. So I do definitely like that because it gives you a lot of versatility, and that's something I haven't really seen in any eyeshadow colors, where you can see something that actually is reflected in the light. So I think I really like that about it. However, we're gonna get a little bit deeper into what colors I'm gonna choose based off of what I do have. I'm only gonna work with this one palette just to show you guys how versatile it is and how diverse and what you can do with these colors, y'all. Just to go ahead and start off, I'm gonna start off with this peachy color right here. So we're looking at this peachy color. I'm gonna go in with that, and that's gonna be in both my crease and a little bit of the outer, but not a lot of the outer. So it's just gonna be right here. So as I start filling this in, as you guys can see, the pigmentation is amazing. Like, the coverage is already there, and I just started putting it on. So I think that's one thing I absolutely love about it, is that it does not take a lot of time to build up. Honestly, I could walk out the house and just have that on my eye, be perfectly fine. So I think a lot of work has been going into pigmentation. How do you have a really good formula that works in terms of it just being able to be easy to apply to the eye without a lot of work, without a lot of blending, which is what I love. So as I finish blending out this naked blush that is within this Pat McGrath palette, we are going to next talk about why did I choose this as a base color. So this works as my base color because, number one, I usually like starting with mattes. Mattes are easy to blend. You can blend them based on the concentration. So as you can see right now, a lot of my concentration is going to be within my crease, and I just continue to blend a little bit upward so that way I can just start blending it out. So that way it's not as concentrated closer to my brow area. So I usually start with a matte because those, like I said, are easy, but not only that, they tend to work as a good base because when you start blending other colors into it, they're blender friendly in a way. So I think these work really good, and the fact that we have two mattes in there, so we have this naked blush one, and then we also have this purple one. This purple one is your next one in there, and I feel like both of those colors work perfect. both of those colors work perfect in terms of getting a good base color started. It's very good that she added both a dark one to the purple and then also this one, and I think both of these colors work very good with all of the shimmers in there, so they're very much collaborative. So like I said, this one is the perfect color because I also am going for like a light shimmer look today. So usually when I go for very shimmery looks, I tend to go for a lighter color in terms of using it for my crease and whatnot. So what I'm really trying to show you guys right now by blending this out is that you have so much. I would probably say I use about 6 taps per eye in terms of getting the product on my brush and onto my eye. In this case, I love it because I'm not having to use a lot of product, and as you can see, I'm still blending out product without having to apply any more, and it's still having a really good seamless finish. Okay, y'all, so before I start getting into the next color after adding this naked blush onto my eye, I am going to talk about these reflective colors and kind of how I feel about them in the palette. So I think at first I thought they were super cool. They work really good, and I thought they were something different that she's offering to the makeup and eyeshadow palette community. I think the only thing that I struggle with it, I think is going to take some getting used to, would be the fact that reflective colors, like, they don't always go with every single color. Like, for instance, this color in here that turns from pink to green, it would, like, the pink itself might work with maybe like this purple, or it could even work with this naked blush one, but I do feel like the green may not go with everything as well. So it's like, I feel like you have to strategically choose which colors you pick out of this palette because you have to think of them as being basically two-toned. Make sure you think about the two-toned, or my other idea is to also just simply put that one eye on. I think a lot of their marketing has been towards just putting on that specific eye color and then working with it. So the next color I'm gonna go in is this orange looking color. I thought it complemented almost perfect because it's almost like a copper orange gold, which is actually really cool, but I think it'll really go good with this naked blush that we have on my eye. So I'm gonna go in, I'm actually gonna take this one out all over my whole entire lid, except for maybe like that piece corner right there, but I'm gonna go in with that for the most part. As you guys can see, this is what it is doing right now, and it looks good. So I am gonna go back in and blend some more between those two colors, between that peach color and this shimmer. Here, and I'm just gonna go back in my crease and, like I said, blend these two out. I think that for this palette, I don't necessarily like doing cut creases because these colors, they just blend very good, and I think that the thing with her shimmers are that their blendability when it comes to blending with mattes are beautiful. Like, they end up becoming even better when they get in close contact with each other. So I think that's like I don't like the cut crease idea. It separates the colors too much, and it doesn't allow for these colors, especially for this being like a palette where your shimmers are pretty much there to blend in perfectly with these mattes. Okay, y'all, so as I finish blending this out, I'm gonna pick exactly why did I choose this gold copper color. So like I said before, I think the colors mesh really good, but not only that, I think that it provides a good shade variation in terms of this orange to a copper. I feel like these complement each other, so they automatically go good together. But not only that, I feel like this lighter color helps bring out this peach. So being that this peach is already a pretty light color, I think by going in with a color that's a little bit lighter, even though it's a shimmer, it is a lighter color. It's more of like a nude shimmer to me. Once you start applying it onto your eyelid, I think that it helps bring out the peach. If I were to use a darker shimmer, I do believe that the peach wouldn't be able to stand out. It wouldn't be able to play its own role by itself. So that is the biggest reason why I think that using this copper color was gonna be good. You don't want something to outshine the other. I wanted them both to play a role in how my eyes looked, and I think this peach is really gonna give this a lot of color, and then the shimmer is really just gonna bring it together by adding just a little glam look. Okay, so the next color I'm gonna come in with right now is gonna be this Divine Dust color. So This is going to be a darker color right here, and that's looking, I really did save this one for last because like I said, I didn't want something to outshine this peach color. Right now this peach is really plain as like my all-star. This is the color I want to stick out, but I also wanted my corners to stick out. So by doing this, I'm going to go in with this small little brush right here, and we're just going to use these simply for our corners. I want something to be like a subtle pop in my corner. As you can tell when you're looking at this one compared to this one, it just adds a little color to it. Why did I pick this Divine Dust color that is a dark color and usually don't put dark in your corners? For me, I think that when I'm putting anything in my corner, it has to contrast my whole entire look. So in this case, being that we have a lighter color going on with this peach, then I think that adding corners in my eyes have to be not necessarily super dark, but I think they have to be darker than the whole entire look. And as you guys can see, I'm really just taking that corner and I'm just bringing it up some, so that way you can just really start blending it in a little bit more, because actually it blends in a little bit more than I thought with this peach color, so it really allows for a good transition up into that peach. It's very subtle, and that's really what I want. I don't want anything like super over the top, especially for this daytime look, y'all. Okay, y'all, so this is the final look before I go put on the final touches of my makeup, but just to show you guys an overall look of how everything is looking. Like I said, it is very much a daytime look, and this look actually ended up turning out more nude than what I thought. I thought it was going to be a little brighter, but actually it turned out better in a good way because this is a daytime look. I want something light, fluffy, a little flirty, but warm as well. So I'm going to go back on and finish up my foundation and put on some lashes so you guys can actually see the full look and how it comes together. And then I'll also give you guys a full review on this Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette. Hey y'all, so this is my final look for my eyes. I absolutely adore them, and I think that this look came together perfect. And to wrap up this whole entire look, I did use some of this Anastasia Beverly Gilded just to make my lips shine and then also to reflect in my eyes. So the biggest question of what people want to know, especially with an upper echelon expensive brand, is it worth buying? This retails at $125, y'all. So the question is, should I buy it? Is it worth spending that much money on an eyeshadow palette? It's not a huge one, but it is pretty good size. What am I paying for it? What am I getting out of it? I think for this case, you are really paying for these reflective colors and the formulation, because the formulation gives you that hyperpigmentation, the quickness to put on the makeup, the color application. It gives a lot of it to this palette. But I would think pigmentation, the application, and the reflective colors, and then marketing are the four biggest things you're getting out of paying for this palette. However, I do think that they work beautifully, but you have to be strategic with some of these colors, especially these two-tone colors where you have to think about, okay, if I'm putting on one color that is pink and green, can it go with another color that may be reflective? You just really have to think deeper about these combinations. So for beginners, I would not suggest this for beginners because it is harder to really pick out the colors, especially if you're just working with this one palette and not combining it with another palette. It would be more difficult. Now, on the flip side, I think it gives you a lot of things. It gives you a lot of daytime looks, possible nighttime looks, but I would assume more daytime, you know, girls trip, vacation looks. But overall, I think it offers a lot. And then these two colors right here, I think do give you lighter colors, and they don't really show up very good, but I think they are good for if you want to apply those on top of a color you already have on your eye. I think they would work good in just adding a shimmer to it. So those two colors you don't get as much use out of, but I think this palette has a lot to offer for you guys, and it is definitely worth looking into. And my favorite thing are the purples and pinks in here. They are beautiful. Those always combine perfectly, so you can't ever go wrong with them. Overall, I think you guys are investing very good into this palette, and it is definitely worth a look into. And like I said, I like easy application stuff to where it applies easy and I don't have to spend a lot of time blending and applying. So those are my final reviews for this Pat McGrath palette, y'all. And as always, Aunt Path, we absolutely love it. And I will see you guys next time. And as always, keep up with me, y'all. It's Kenitra.